What's up, everybody? It's your boy Simply Steve, Steven E. However you know me, it's your boy. I'm back. Today's video, as promised, will be a video that me and my dad have talked about on our wrestling show, and I thought I'd go into depth with it today, and thought I'd talk about it. And that is, should the WWE bring back the brand extension? Now, before I get into the video, I would like to say that this is the third time me using my new light, and it's worked perfectly out, because the first time I started doing this video, it was very dark. Now, I also want you to know I am using my phone to do these videos, but once I get some more money, I will buy a laptop or a tablet, whichever one is better to use, so I can make videos with sound, with music, and different effects to go along with to make the video more interesting. Again, tell all your people about the videos, rate, comment, and subscribe. Alright, so let's get straight into the video. Alright, so today we're talking about the brand extension. Should the WWE bring it back? But first, for those of you who don't know what the brand extension is, let me tell you what it is. Basically, back around 2002, 2003, I think it was 2002, the WWE had beaten WCW in the war. ECW had been gone, I believe, by that time. And they have bought out WCW. So now the WWE have all these guys with them. And they're like, well, what do we do with them? Because, like, just having them all on Raw, not everybody was going to get a chance to shine and meet. You weren't going to be able to meet all these stars. So the Vince McMahon decided to split it up. Two brands. One Raw, the other SmackDown. Okay, so obviously that was the main reason why the brands were created, because the roster was too big, and for one show, and they had stars from ECW, WCW, and WWE. Okay, but why did it end? Well, because Stephanie said, I believe 2013, she said, or a couple years ago, she said that so the storylines can continue on through SmackDown, and you can watch it all the way 24/7, especially with the WWE Network. Alright, so I have 12 reasons for you today why it would either be good to bring back the brand extension or not to bring it back, and to keep it as it is right now. Okay? So alright, let's do it. Reason number 12. The tag team division. The tag team division has sucked the last year ago up until a certain point, because the tag team division was just so boring. The only excitement was the Usos, especially when they were feuding with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Those were good tag team matches, and the Usos were pretty good. So then you had guys like the Ascension coming up from NXT, which I didn't see them in NXT, but I heard from my dad and from my friend Addie that they were really good at NXT, and that, you know, first of all, when you have guys in NXT, you need to bring them up, and you bring them up to WWE, you need to keep them as they were. Because the reason why the Extension were successful got caught up because they were a successful tag team in NXT. Keep them as they were. No reason to change them. Adrian Neville, you know, I don't mind calling him Neville. Other than that, he's pretty much the same person. My dad said he doesn't like too much what they're doing with them because he feels like he's killing him. But, you know, you can't rush to the top. John Cena didn't rush to the top, but look where he's at. Brock Lesnar, he did rush to the top, but, you know, he's a special case. Guys like Randy Orton and The Rock, you know, they were born into the business. So, you know, it was good for them. It was much easier, I would say, for them, kind of. But guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, they had to work their way up. And Bret Hart and Shawn, they had to work their way up to the top. And, you know, once they got to the top, everyone loved them. Alright, so the tag team division, especially with the Dudley Boys back, you know, I'm telling you, if we can get the Hardy Boys back from TNA, man, I'm telling you, we will have a tag team division. 2/3, or 2 teams out of the 3 from the Attitude Era. We'd have the Dudley Boys, we have the Hardys, and taking the place of Edge and Christian would be the Usos. You got New Day, you got the Lucha Dragons, you know. You got all these great options. Heck, if Eric Rowan comes back, and let's say he does join the Wyatt family, then you can have Bray Wyatt and Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman team up, and then you got Eric Rowan and Luke Harper team up. Though all four of them will be the Wyatt family still, but just those two teams, if they compete, it will be an amazing thing. Heck, even if you have Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns team up to come, those are good challenges for the WWE Tag Team Championships. One of them is when the WWE unified the World Tag Team Championship and the WWE Tag Team Championships. They were able to go from either brand, from Raw to SmackDown, and occasionally ECW, but nobody goes over. No one really went over to ECW. And when they had ECW, I didn't watch ECW. But yeah, I mean, like, let's say for instance, we have New Day, and they're on they're originally from Raw, right? We have the New Day, and they're tag team champions, right? They can either stay on Raw and defend those titles, or move on to SmackDown and defend the titles from those guys over there. It keeps things interesting because you see the guys over there trying to fight for the tag team championships, the opportunity to be tag team champions, and vice versa with Raw. The next thing is the pay-per-view. One of the things that the WWE did when it was the brand extension was they had Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views. Now, you know, I'm not a really big fan of that. I really think you should just keep it on the same thing. I mean, I remember when I was reading and researching everything, it says that the World Heavyweight Championship in its final years were not even the main event of the pay-per-view. It was always the WWE Championship. Well, think back in 2009, I remember the World Heavyweight Championship was main eventing stuff. Edge, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, The Undertaker. They were meant to main eventing pay-per-views. That was a year. That's why I'm telling you, 2009 was the best year I can remember for the WWE. You had Take as the world champ. You had DX back. You had DX for the very first time as a tag team championship. You had great teams. You had Jericho and Miz and Big Show. You had great teams. Everything was great. And, you know, we had Up and Rising coming soon. Though at the time I didn't like him, Dolph Ziggler. Jack Swagger, if he had been gone right, if he was written right, he would have been a great main event star. Remember, for those who may not remember, he is a former world champion. But besides all that, I mean, I don't really think it's necessary to have Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views. You can have the same thing. They can have their own storyline, but then when the pay-per-view comes, just have the SmackDown matches on there and the Raw matches on there. Works for me, right? That's what they were doing the last couple of years. Alright, another thing, reason number 10, bring back the classic titles. When Cody Rhodes won the Intercontinental Championship, he took the black title away, he threw it away, and he brought back the classic white one. And when I first saw it, I was like, that championship looked dumb. But that's only because I've been used to seeing the black and blue Intercontinental Championship and not the white one. The white one was back when Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold were, and Bret Hart were fighting over the Intercontinental Championship. And my dad was happy, and I know a lot of old school people were happy, like, oh yeah, that's an Intercontinental Championship we remember. Now I like the white design more than I like the black design. But, because, if you can bring back the classic, what's the classic one? Like the Cruiserweight Championship. That, again, like my dad said, that can be used for Sin Cara, for Daniel Bryan, maybe even. Not Daniel Bryan. But some of the lighter weight guys coming in who were in the lower 100. Hey, Rey Mysterio won a Cruiserweight Championship. Just a title, even a European Championship. I read that can be used for guys like Cesaro and guys for like Rusev and other stuff like that. Bring back those titles and you can have more storylines, more things. Remember when Rusev was this massive beast and he couldn't be stopped, and every time someone fought him, they get beaten down, and you're like, oh, Mark Henry's gonna do it, then he failed. The Big Show's gonna do it, oh, he failed. Dolph Ziggler's gonna do, oh, he failed. Kofi Kingston, oh, he failed. Big E, he's gonna do, oh, he failed. It was interesting. And then, in fact, you added in the U.S. title, and that made that much more interesting. Alright, number 9 is kind of the same thing as number 10. And it's kind of what they're doing right now. Bringing focus on the minor titles, like the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title. Those titles right now, John Cena having the title, it made people care about the U.S. title. The U.S. Open challenges were phenomenal. Those were the best matches of the night. Cena facing guys like Cesaro and Neville and Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes or Stardust, whatever. Those matches were incredible match of the night. Will he win the title back the next night at Night of Champions? Most likely. And if he does, then we'll probably have another U.S. Open Challenge. I don't know. But we can only hope. The Intercontinental Championship not doing that bad either, because the WWE wanted to bring prestige back to that one too, because no one really cared. But no one really didn't care about the United States Championship. But the Intercontinental Championship, it was with Ryback, they were going to put on Daniel Bryan to make that title matter too. But he got hurt, obviously. Ryback got it, and it has elevated Ryback, and now Ryback is having those awesome matches, and it's incredible. What he's doing with the title. He's about to start feuding with Kevin Owens soon, and though it will be a good match, who wins? We'll have to wait. You'll have to wait a little bit longer until I find that one out. Number 8, less traveling for superstars. Here's what I mean by less traveling. The WWE superstars are on the road, I believe, 300 days out of the year. That's a lot. Unlike regular sports like football, basketball, baseball, there is no season ending. Well, there is seasons, but WWE is year-round. I think in some aspect, the WWE is the toughest sport you can go for. Although it's mostly sport entertainment, it is wrestling. People do get hurt. Careers do get ended. People die from it. It's a painful, and you have to be dedicated to this business to do this. And I say it's one of the toughest, if not the toughest sport, because you don't take a break unless you're injured, or if you're going to go take a movie or whatever. You don't take a break. You keep going year in and year out every day. 365 days a year, we're going to see John Cena, John Cena, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Cody, Stardust. We're going to see all those guys all year round. They don't take a break, again, unless they're making a movie or unless they're hurt. They don't take a break, which is why less traveling. If the Raw guys, they're going to be traveling to do Raw shows and live shows. SmackDown guys are only going to be traveling to do SmackDown shows and their live shows, competing against each other. Remembering when I remember when it was SmackDown brand and the Raw brand, that I would always watch the SmackDown show. I didn't like Raw. I mean, I know you had guys like Cena, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Randy Orton. I didn't care about those guys then. I cared about guys like Edge. I cared about guys like Undertaker, Big Show, Jericho. Those were the guys that I was familiar with. I mean, I was familiar, obviously, with the other people, just Cena and them, but I didn't care. Now it's the other way around. I love Raw. Raw is awesome. SmackDown sucks. That's why I don't watch SmackDown, because it's just, now all I do is look at the spoilers and know what's happening. Something interesting comes on, then I will watch it. But other than that, who cares? What's next? The new GM. New GMs. Normally how this went, Raw, SmackDown used to have a bad GM, but most of the time it's normally a heel GM who favors with the heels. You had your Eric Bischoffs, your Stephanie McMahon, your Shane McMahon, your John Laurinaitis, your Vince McMahon. And SmackDown, you had the good guys. SmackDown was always Teddy Long, Booker T. Oh, I forgot, obviously, and Vicky Guerrero. Can't forget about Vicky Guerrero. Excuse me! Hope she's doing good with her doctor thing or whatever it is she's doing. I just know something has to do with doctors. But it's crazy, right? Like, the Authority was good. Like, I could see it playing out kind of like WrestleMania 28 did. SmackDown GM versus Raw GM, right? And you got fighting over to see who will be the GM of both shows. And out of that, you could have the Authority. But, I think we should go back to the GMs because, if it's 2 separate shows, then we can have 2 separate shows. How about for the first time ever, we have a good GM on Raw and a bad GM on... Well, we had a bad GM on SmackDown, which was Vicky Guerrero. I don't know about Raw. I can't remember, but it's always been bad GMs until Teddy Long and Booker T came along. Because they were the good GMs and everything like that. Another thing for the Brand Ascension, which would be number 6, is the fresh matchups. Tell me, how many times would we not see new guys facing off against other guys? Instead of getting John Cena versus Randy Orton for the 1,000th time, let's get Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Or how we got a year before, John Cena and Bray Wyatt, or John Cena and Rusev. Or Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Let's get guys who haven't faced each other. Let's get guys who haven't faced each other to face off against each other. Or as their other fantasy matches. I remember, well, I don't remember, but I saw it when I was looking it up. The fantasy matches when Rock was on SmackDown and Austin was on Raw, they didn't ever think that they were going to face each other again. You know what happened? WrestleMania 19, they faced off again. And their final match, and The Rock ended up overcoming Austin and to win his first match over Austin at WrestleMania. That was something people were craving. I remember when it was, you barely ever saw Taker on Raw unless it was some kind of special thing. Well, now we see Taker on Raw all the time. He isn't on SmackDown anymore. We see Taker on... Last time he was on SmackDown was 2013 when he faced Dean Ambrose and got put through a table by the Shield. That was the last time we saw him on SmackDown. Now, I mean, SmackDown is Take's show. That's where he's been for years. Just like SmackDown is The Rock's show, SmackDown is where Cena came from, where Orton came from, where Brock came from. Well, he didn't come. He debuted on Raw, then went over to SmackDown and stayed there, and he dominated over there. Another thing mixed up with the fresh matchup is the draft. The draft was exciting because you didn't know who was going to go where. There were times the WWE champion went over to the SmackDown side. There were times when the Raw champion went over to Raw side. Heck, do you remember the final draft when Cena was drafted to SmackDown? Everyone was like, oh my god, that is a big deal. John Cena back where he started at, back on SmackDown. Then they had Randy Orton on SmackDown, and you're like, oh my god, the Raw side has no faces. They have nobody to represent. They have no big names on Raw. They got the two biggest dudes they could name in the history of the WWE that could ever be on SmackDown. One show. That's like if you took Hulk Hogan, all the guys, that's like if you took all the top guys and just put them on SmackDown. Then everyone would watch SmackDown. No one would watch Raw because there's nobody on there. Right? Another thing people always complain about is they want Daniel Bryan to be champ. They want Dolph Ziggler to be the champ. But who do you decide between those two? Because they're both equally loved, right? Well, my thing was you have Daniel Bryan on Raw, Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown. So let's say, for instance, they're in the Royal Rumble, right? And Dolph Ziggler wins. Okay, well, we still want Daniel Bryan to be champion. We're happy for Dolph Ziggler. We're happy that you won the Royal Rumble. We're happy that you're going on to face whatever champion you choose, right? And that was the other thing, too. When the Royal Rumble, they got to choose which champion they wanted. They wanted the World Champion or they wanted the WWE Champion. Interest choice, right? But then let's say Dolph picks the World Champion, right? Okay, that means Daniel Bryan can win the Elimination Chamber or some kind of match. Main events, Raw, WrestleMania, beats whoever the champion is. Then you got Daniel Bryan as your WWE Champion, Dolph Ziggler as your World Heavyweight Champion. Now people are watching both shows because both of their favorite wrestlers are both the champion. Which leads me into my next thing, SmackDown equal to Raw. When Edge, Undertaker, Big Show, Jericho, when they were all on SmackDown, people were watching SmackDown. Why? Because SmackDown had star power. Because SmackDown mattered. Now, all they do is have 6-man tag team matches on SmackDown. Then they carry that over to Raw and have that same 6-man tag team match with the same people. And the same people ended up winning the match. For example, we can have Cena, Orton, and let's say we're going to have Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Sheamus, right? We'll have that match on SmackDown as the main event. Next, then that Monday, we'll have the same match again in a rematch. We're like, we don't want to see that again. It's just so boring, right? Or in this case, we have, on Raw this past Monday, we had Ryback versus Seth Rollins. Guess what I read for the spoilers for SmackDown? It's going to be Seth Rollins versus Ryback in a rematch. We don't want to see that again. We know so you gotta build Seth Rollins up because he's about to face Sting and John Cena on the same night. But we don't need to see those two face again. Ryback is building momentum. People are finally loving him again. People are just like, feed me more. Feed me. People are loving it. People love that he's doing that. Don't make him lose momentum by losing to Seth Rollins. There's no shame in losing to Seth Rollins. He's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. But still. Alright, so number 4 would be major titles matter. And I know what you're going to say, like, what do you mean major titles matter? Of course they matter. Back in the day, when there was only one championship, everyone was trying to get that championship. If The Rock was champion, everybody was going after The Rock. If Stone Cold was champion, everyone's going after Stone Cold. Hulk Hogan was champion, everyone's going after Hulk Hogan. But, now that because there was 2, they're like, I understand why the WWE unified the titles. Because they're like, there's 2 champions, who's better? Right? Who is the champion of the WWE? Right? It's not, oh, he's champion. Oh, oh, he's champion. It's who is the champion of the WWE. I understand that. It makes sense. But come on now. I missed the World Heavyweight Championship. The World Heavyweight Championship was my favorite belt. That's the belt that I got for Christmas. I said, no, don't give me the WWE Championship. Give me the World Heavyweight Championship. Because those were, Edge was holding that belt. Taker was holding that belt. Jericho was holding that belt. That's the belt I wanted to have. Right there. See? Those, and plus, you know, like I said, in 2009, it was not the WWE title. It was main eventing pay-per-views. It was the World Heavyweight Championship. Sure, years later, it was back to the WWE main eventing the pay-per-view. But still, you got the most exciting matches you possibly could out of the world title. Am I wrong, people? Am I wrong? Next, number 3, and I think it's really important. More time to develop rivalries. If we have people on SmackDown, right, and we have people on Raw, for example, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, they're exclusive to Raw, right? They're fighting each other. They don't have to worry about it be carrying on SmackDown and like ending on SmackDown. The feud, no, that's all focused. It can go longer. People can enjoy it more. When Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns when Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are together, their matches are beautiful. They are in sync. Those two have been battling each other since FCW, I believe. It's more time to develop storylines. It's just perfect that way. Number 2. Oh, plus people will be able to enjoy more. Number 2, superstars exclusive to one brand. When you think about SmackDown, who do you think about? I think about Edge. I think about The Undertaker. When you think about Raw, who do you think about? I think about John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. That's who I think about. That right there is good. Because it's just good. You know, I can't even think of a reason. It's just good. If you think about SmackDown, you think about Taker, you think about Edge, you think about Jericho, you think about Raw, you think about Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and all the incredible matches that they had with each other. It was amazing. And finally, the number 1 reason for why the brand, I believe, should be brought back, Raw versus SmackDown. By the end of this video, at this point, if you have not figured it out yet, SmackDown was the brand for me. I loved SmackDown. SmackDown was the best. SmackDown did have some boring people, mid-card-wise. I'll tell you why. Because Raw would have, like, who would Raw have? Raw would have all the star power. They'd have, excuse me. Raw had Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I'm just using an example. They'd have Raw. They'd have Triple H, Shawn Michaels, John Cena, Randy Orton, and that's Daniel Bryan, right? SmackDown would have MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Kofi Kingston, maybe Edge and Jericho. You have 2 megastars on there. Everyone else is mid-card. And I'm like, it's kind of like when the WWE has big matches and it's a heel team versus a face team, and the heel team has all the biggest and baddest dudes on there, and the face team has all the exciting people on there, but they're not as big or they're not as strong. It's kind of like the unfair advantage. But on the 2 shows of the pay-per-view that they had of bragging rights, my team SmackDown, though were controversial, did prevail. Why? Because SmackDown is the best. Because you had guys like Dolph Ziggler, Edge, Rey Mysterio. You had those guys on there. Now, don't get me wrong, Rey Mysterio is a megastar too, but he's not as big as Cena, as big as Triple H, Shawn Michaels. He's not as big as those guys. And I'm not talking literally. I'm talking about status-wise, as in WWE. When you think of WWE, you don't really think about Rey Mysterio that much. You think about Hulk Hogan. You think about Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Edge. You think about those guys. You don't... No offense to Rey Mysterio and what he's done. You just think about those guys more than you think of Rey Mysterio. So, those have been my 12 reasons as to why I believe the brand ascension should come back. I think they may be considering it. Excuse me. I got so excited to talk about this conversation, my throat started hurting. But those are my reasons. they're pretty good reasons. I think I did pretty good for my first real solid, in-depth question of whether the brand extension should come back. You know, tell me what you guys think. I didn't even know. I had uploaded the my Raw review a couple days ago, and I didn't know if it would ever upload. I never got a bing. I never got an alert that it did, right? So yesterday I was at work before starting the floors. I checked it out, and I got 10 views in one day, or however many times, whatever, between those 2 days. Sorry. I got 10 views real quick, and I was like, oh snap. Okay. Somebody's out there watching me. They know I got 10 freaking views. So spread the message. Spread it. Let everyone know, hey, there's this new guy on YouTube called Stephen E. Steve, whatever. You know, he's giving these in-depth things that nobody's talking about anymore, or anything like that. But I will say, I was gonna make it. No, I'm gonna make this next one video. It's gonna be a short one, but it's gonna be breaking news. It's big and it's involving my guy, sorry, I got hiccups now. It's involving my guy, The Undertaker. It's my guy right there, man. Legend. Still don't think the streak should have ended, but it's whatever, you know. Alright guys, so that has been my video for today. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. In the end, I think the WWE should bring back the brand extension, because it was just, yeah, in the later years, 2010 to 11, it pretty much sucked. But remember, the best year of the brand, 2009, people were talking about both shows. Deep before that, years before that, they were talking about both shows because it was so interesting. You don't necessarily need Raw pay-per-views and SmackDown pay-per-views. You don't need that. Because if you have a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown pay-per-view, you're going to be thinking, man, I wish Taker was on there. Man, I wish Shawn Michaels was on there. I just wish that this guy was on here and that guy was on here. Certain people would only watch one show because their favorite guy was on there. And if their favorite guy, thanks to the draft, will win to another show, then they'd watch that show. Plus, there's new feuds to go along with that. It's just that interesting. It's just that good. All these reasons, talk it over, think it over. Again, remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Get my name out there whatever way you can, people. I am the new face of the WWE tubers. The new face. Remember this face. I was partnered up, but you know, it's very rarely that we ever do the show now. And I say, the people of YouTube deserve to know about the WWE. I deserve to give them people. I loved doing the show. I did. And I was like, we stopped doing it, and we rarely ever do it now. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do my own show. I'm going to see if I can make it. My dad's got 33 subscribers. I only got 6. 6 is a good start, but I want more. I'm not saying I'm going to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. I don't know if I'm ever going to get to 100,000 subscribers. But if I get subscribers, if I get people to rate, comment, and subscribe, if I get people to talk about it, I don't care if you're talking negatively about it. I can say, yo, this dude done lost his mind. He crazy. He don't know what he talking about. Hey, as long as you're talking about me, as long as your people are knowing who I am and what it is I do, that is fine. I will tell you though, if you have been on my channel before, you've seen a video called Dragon Ball Z Raging Blast 3, I will be making another one. Because I feel that we need to get this game out there, right? It's a game that has been talked about. If you go on Facebook and look at a guy named Treevax, it's Tree and then Vax, V-A-X, you will, no spaces though, you will see this guy and all the stuff he's made. It's incredible. I want to play that game, but they don't have it. Because he even took it to the game creator and they were all clapping. Oh, beautiful game, beautiful, beautiful. But they were already planning on doing Ultimate Tenkaichi, which sucked. And they did Xenoverse, which is okay. Everyone loves Xenoverse. So they're going to probably make a Xenoverse 2. But let's make Raging Blast 3. Heck, I know it. And like I said, that could be great for the very last Dragon Ball Z game. But I know you're talking like, very last Dragon Ball Z game? Come on, man. There's more to come. Sure, I know we got the new movies and Super in Japan and everything like that, but like other games, it can just be uploaded in the DLC pack. Just keep uploading. Golden Frieza, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, the Fat Bears dude, the girl Weez, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but bring those guys in the game, upload them once they're there. Come on, people. Alright, so that's about it. I'm going to see you next time. I'm your boy, Simply Steve. You know, I think I'm just going to go by Simply Steve now because, you know, I could go by Stephen E if you know me by that from my earlier videos. But, you know, Simply Steve, you know, That's who I am. I'm simply Steve. That's all I am. So remember again to rate, comment, and subscribe. I know I'm repeating myself, but you know I gotta get my name out there. All right, peace.